Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LG Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we're covering Single Taken Other. This is Season 2, Episode 3. And I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe, and you can leave your comments below. Now, let's get into this week's episode. Okay, so I'm finally going to be caught up. You can catch Single Taken Other every Friday at midnight on YouTube. The link to all the videos are there. Go over there, subscribe, run those numbers up over there, please. So we started this episode off with Taryn. She's getting out of the bed, and you can see a sorrowful type of countenance that she has on herself. She goes into the bathroom, and she's letting us know that she's really feeling disappointed in herself. And what she's disappointed in is that she slept with Ahmad. And it can be heartbreaking, especially when you made a commitment to God. Especially, she said that she had a slip up some time ago, and now it's just been broken just like that. She's thinking that she'll just tell Ahmad, I'm not ready for sex. Now we're getting her inner voices. You got one voice over here telling her one thing and another voice telling her another thing. Basically, she's weighing out how is this going to really affect her if she does try to present this to Ahmad. He's going to dump me. I think a lot of women deal with that. Like, if you don't keep it up, especially when you open up the door. When you didn't even want to really open up the door, but it did happen, so now you got to deal with what has happened. She also just talks about her commitment that she made towards God, and her inner voice is saying, what, are you 17? You have done this before. With Ahmad. Grow up and just live in the moment. Even though I call it like an angel devil type of situation. It's like, it's not that bad. Go on and keep on having sex with him. Look, you guys are in a good place. So anyway, she just still says, I still feel shitty, even though I did this. Anyways, Ahmad comes into the bathroom and he needs to go on and pay a water bill. If you've seen how Taryn was, she kind of turned her back to Ahmad before he even started peeing. Just to let you know, I just felt that as her feeling a little bit ashamed of it and not really want to look him in the face for what she did and really what she wants to tell him, like, let's take sex off the table. Anyways, he does his business, flushes the toilet, and then reaches for her toothbrush. And she said, wait, now, I know you're not going to pee. And then want to brush your teeth and not even wash your hands. So he said, look, I gotta brush my teeth, especially if you want to kiss me, I can't be all crusty. And we don't need all this unsanitary stuff going on. Either, Ahmad. I think it's time for you to get a spend the night bag, or you and Taryn talk about getting a drawer for some of your stuff, if this is going to continue this way. And when we're going to see your house, Mr. Financier. And later on, we find out he's freelance. Just saying. Anyways, she gives in and lets him brush his teeth. And then he tried to ask, he already did ask what was going to be on the agenda for her day. She just said work. She's leaving out of the bathroom, and then he asked, you want to have a quickie before you go off to work? She rolls her eyes and leaves the room. All right, so Brittany and Leon, the one that she met at the alumni event. They are just getting up out of their whatever they did last night. And they feeling and vibing each other. Leon's asking questions, so what are you going to do today? And she's evasive and not really saying anything. And Leon wants a little bit more. And Brittany's like, well, you trying to get up in my business? You knew what this was, And he was asking, like, is this a sneaky link? And she's like, no, it's not. We two consenting adults doing what we're doing. Leon jumps to the chase and says, hey, I have more intentions of really wanting more than just sex with you. Brittany says that she doesn't have the mental capacity to do that, so that's off the table. He said that there's no pressure, but I just wanted to make it be known. I am liking how some of these men on here are just coming out with their intentions, and then the women don't have to guess and try to curtail their way into certain conversations to see possibly you might be open to it. No, he's straightforward as to what he wants. This is another guy that Brittany is not really available for. And she just wants to have sex and go on about her business. You would think, okay, is this like Kara? But Kara was more free spirited and she just didn't care. But obviously, Brittany is covering up something that she's not really willing to talk about and really uncover and deal with. And I'm interested to see how the rest of the season actually moves forward, because I really want to get into Brittany a lot because she's masking something. All right, at Flair, Monica comes in. Well, first, one of the other co-workers, I forgot her name, is trying to, might be Stephanie, trying to show Mercedes some things. And then Mercedes is just like, I already know all this stuff. She called this magazine a boutique magazine. Now for me, I'd probably be running to the boss and just letting them know, hey, look, I don't know what's going on with this girl, but all she has is negative things to say, and she's now talking about that she can run circles around all of these employees, and the work that is given here is not that demanding. Next thing, Monica approaches Taryn, asking that she look at the edits that she had for her article. I think she said that she hadn't gotten to it yet. And then she asked about the trending report. And she said, well, I gave it to you earlier. Well, I don't see it. She said, well, I guess I could do it again and have it to you by lunch. Sounds like you didn't do it, Taryn. So there's a lot of tension right there. Not Brittany. Well, we can go there. Should I? No, let's stay on Monica for a minute. Monica tries to out Nick over text about him having a girlfriend. Well, Nick did a reverse Uno and said, hey, well, you got somebody, so there's no sense in trying to tell me about myself, but you got your own thing going on. I completely agree. There's nothing I can fight up with him about it. Monica, that's on you, lady. That is on you. And you just got to really eat the crow that you got. Mercedes comes in. And she said, I did the report that Taryn wasn't able to do, da-da-da-da-da. I'm used to doing that. Then she says, well, by the way, I'm eager to learn and want to do more things. And if you could, hook a sister up, I'm paraphrasing, I'd be more than glad to do it. And Monica said, that's good to know. I don't know if Monica is biting that or if her defenses are up, even though she didn't show it. I just don't know if she's receptive to what Mercedes is saying as far as, okay, I'm going to get you some more assignments or what. But obviously, Mercedes was able to come in, and that's the fault of Monica and Taryn, more on Taryn, because they're seeing the tension, and it looks like Mercedes is going to get into that friendship and relationship that y'all got going on and ease her way in. I mean, obviously, she wants to get closer to Monica and Joan to get more intel. You can tell that she's reporting back to whomever to try to take down this boutique magazine. There's an enemy in the camp, and y'all got to get her out of there. Get her out of there. That's all I got to say. Brittany is with her other co-worker. She's too busy going on the apps, and he's trying to get her attention and all that. He's like, oh, I'm on the apps, da-da-da-da-da. There's so many messages. Dude said, well, I didn't know you was like that. And she was like what? Not trying to shame you or anything. It just doesn't seem like, I thought that you were trying to do self-care. And she said gratification is also self-care, which could be true, but he says that all gratification is not good gratification. Can't argue with that. He does say, if you're not that type of person, there's no reason for you to continue to pretend like you are that person. I think that that's good advice. There's a mask that is on Brittany, and I'm glad that hopefully that we get to see that unfold, because there's a lot going on there. All right. Taryn and Ahmad, they are jogging. They take a little breather, and she said there's no time like the present to ask Ahmad about church. She first softens the blow as to what she needs to ask about church by wanting Ahmad to get interested in what she had going on at the women's group. She tells him all that went down, and then she says, what about church? Do you go somewhere? And he says, no, I don't. God is everywhere. And then she said, well, wouldn't church be good for you or to get involved in something like Bible study to help with your growth and all that? And he's not really on that because he feels like there's a lot of hypocrites. Taryn, her own personal feelings that she's tired of everyone coming up with the excuse of church hurt. Somewhat, I do think that it can be low-hanging fruit for people to just latch onto as to their excuse. However, church hurt is real, and I can't just not acknowledge how someone feels or what they had actually dealt with. But I feel like it's trending too to just, I'm just not going to go because of what I think or what somebody has told me, not even their own personal hurt, But anyways, to each their own. Ahmad ended up saying, did he say woman? I'm good with God, basically. All this church stuff, no, that's not what I'm into. So they go and finish the run. Kara. She's calling Gary, and Gary's not answering. Mama then messages her and says that I found a lawyer. He's going to be at your event. Kara's got a gardening event that's coming up. And his name is Lance. And now, not yet, but I got to share my fears later on when we get to Kara's event. While she's getting to her car, this dude trying to rap at her, it was a mess. Acting like a player from the 90s, just don't have no game. She's saying that she got someone. Then she ended up telling more information, saying, well, he's in California. Here you go. That's giving him an excuse to try to ease in a little bit more. Anyways, Kara did remain firm, and finally he moved on. Now at Kara's event, Taryn and Monica, you can cut the tension with a knife. Both of the other friends, Brittany and Kara, they were able to sense it, and they're not really speaking with each other because they're mad. Taryn and Monica. Monica goes off with Brittany, and Kara goes off with Taryn, which I feel like are their persons, or the ones that they, I don't know, the ones that they can really vent to and talk to. Anyways, Taryn gives her reason. She feels like Monica there's something, wild expectations of her, and Kara already knows, per Taryn, what Monica's asking. She's like, well, she said it in a very soft, friendly way, but I'm saying it the way I'm saying it. Don't you think that handing in your assignments is not wild? I mean, really, Taryn, you have an issue with Monica, and I think you need to address it head on instead of being mad at her. You're mad at her because she really got that position, and unless it's just misplaced anger and you're just so mad that you don't have this position, but you shouldn't have let that, you're letting that fester over into your friendship. Monica isn't doing anything different than she would do with anyone else, but nobody else is lagging. You said that you do phenomenal work and always have your assignments on time, but it looks like you are making sure that your assignments don't arrive on time. And Kara's like, well, she's got deadlines and all that. You're making her look bad if you don't have your stuff in. Yeah, so I knew when Taryn said that she wasn't hating on Monica, that she was hating on Monica. Taryn goes and meets Zara, the one from her women's group at the church. Zara shows up and introduces her boyfriend. Any guesses on who the boyfriend is? Josh. Josh then showed his self back up. So Josh says, hey, how you doing? Long time no see. I haven't seen you in Bible study. And then she said, no, I haven't been there in a while. And Zara was like, oh, y'all know each other? Yeah, we've known each other from Bible study. And Taryn talked to us and said, Bible study? What? I was almost your fiance. Of course, it didn't go that far, but that's how her reaction is. I mean, I think it's just best to not say that, okay, I dated him too, type of deal going on. But anyways, then Ahmad shows up and it gets more awkward. Ahmad comes by, he's getting hot, he starts cussing. Of course, that's around church folks, and Josh and Zara's like, he introduces himself and get a little background. He's in finance, he's a freelancer and all that good stuff. And then, of course, she introduces him as, Taryn introduces Ahmad as her boyfriend. And then he said, yeah, me and Taryn used to F around, and she decided she wanted to spin the block. So it got a lot more awkward I love that scene though. So then Taryn, she had to try to burst up this awkwardness and said, Kara, you calling for me? Okay, here we come. She wasn't calling. So anyways, they go on their way. Next up, we meet Lance. All I gotta say is I'm team Gary and Kara. Lance came up in there, and let's just say you're meeting the male Kara. He's passionate about the work and all that. Gary was passionate in a different way. Remember, Gary and Kara, they were bumping heads season 1. He had different ideas, and it was like a meeting of the minds, but these two just like an instant connection. And what did Kara say at the end? You're my kind of man? Writers. Writers. Let's move on. Brittany, she has another date. She's charging her phone, but the phone ain't even, the charger isn't really plugged into the phone altogether. So it's looking like, is it really charging? And we're gonna find out later it wasn't charging. The dude is honking outside, and of course Brittany's already annoyed. Like, you couldn't come and ring my doorbell? She gets to the car and she's got to open the door and put herself in. Dude didn't get out. What is his name? Do I have it here? Omar. Yeah. He said, and Brittany acknowledged, okay, I guess chivalry is dead. He's like, well, yeah, I don't really get out in this type of neighborhood. I said, now, this is the first time he starts talking about, he knows that he's going to have a good time because he believes that sex is on the table. They get to the establishment. Brittany is cold because she's sitting right under an air vent, and she's asking, can they switch spots? He gonna say, oh, you didn't look at the weather? You decided to come out here sleeveless and all that. He says that he got to watch the game because he's gambling in order to pay for the meal. Wow. So at that point, Brittany's just ready to go because he's now again thinking that they are going to hook up and have sex. She said, well, when did I say that sex is on the table? I'm paraphrasing. He's like, well, I don't think you have to. You're a vibe, I'm a vibe, we adults, we can do that. And she's like, look, we ain't doing nothing. And she leaves, and he says, well, before you go, leave the money for your meal on the table. I said, dude, what are you doing? So Brittany's outside. She has no charge, so she can't call anyone. She had to remember, she needed somebody to call to pick her up. And she's like, what phone number do I remember? Oh, before I go there, I forgot. Taryn and Royce, they met up. And I forgot about Royce too. Royce had pause. I forgot. Royce had a business meeting with the boss. Kyle has now undercut Royce to now work himself into being a co-lead on projects. I said, Lord, Royce, Kyle is playing chess, and you're just gonna have to, I would say, man up, because this dude is ready to take your spot. Co-lead today, and you will be out of a spot tomorrow. So anyways, Taryn also had a talk with Royce while he was looking into her car to see what was going on. I think something was wrong with her radiator. Anyway, she was like, why were you dating my friend and your coworker at the same time? He said, well, technically we weren't really together. It was an on and off type of situation. Taryn was like, men like to really weigh in or land on technicalities and all that stuff. Well, she was like, well, you were wrong and you need to really apologize. And not that half-assed stuff that you've been doing. Anyways, he wasn't really trying to hear that. However, now we're going to speed back up after Brittany's date. Guess who shows up? Royce. That's the only number that Brittany could remember. That's crazy. Your girls, ain't it? Lord. So anyways, Brittany gets into the car and he offers a sweater to Brittany. Brittany's got an attitude and all that. And he was like, well, I'm just hoping that you're okay, because it's looking like you're not, it looks like you're shivering over there. Oh, so now you know about my feelings and you care about my feelings. I've always cared about your feelings. So then Royce pulled over. He tries to apologize, but the words ain't coming out right. Not like it should. he ends up like, okay, look, I know it's coming out wrong, but I apologize for however I made you feel. Da 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 da. I think he said it like that, but to that effect, it was like, I'm apologizing for that. But Brittany wasn't really accepting of it, and they finally arrive at her place, and then, aha, Royce said, can I come in for a few minutes because I left a couple of things at your apartment. She lets him come up. One is those clippers. Remember episode 1? Royce hadn't shaved right, and for the alumni event, Joy was talking about it, da 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 da. Ladies, just to let you know, oh my God, it's a little bit of that song, Come Pick Up Your Clothes, but I came to get my clippers. And I'll let your body decide if this is good enough for you. Anyways, he picks up his stuff, and seeing that Brittany's not really doing too well, he wants to comfort her because he says, I don't know what Buddy did to you on this date, whatnot, but it's going to be okay. They hug, and he says, I'm sitting up here dating all these losers, Brittany says, trying to get over you. Roy says that I'm not over you either. And then next thing you know, they kiss. She pulls back, and then she pulls his shirt to come on into the bedroom. Whew. I don't know how I feel about them hooking back up. I was really rooting for them, possibly because I thought he had some type of stable relationship with Joy. Royce did. And now it looks like at least Brittany has someone, Leon, that is treating her right. That could be a potential if she actually let her guard down and allow him to care for her and love her. I don't know. But a lot of stuff was going on in this episode. Tell me how you feel. You know, I really did feel for Kara in that moment after the morning after she broke her vow and her commitment to God. All that good stuff. But let me know. I appreciate everyone for coming. Like, comment, subscribe. Until the next one. Peace.